Hey there, and welcome back to Don't Open That Door. Come along with our triumvirate of terror as we descend into darkness, hurtle into horror, and plunge into peril. If you're a fan of John Denver, you're in the right place. I'm Justin, and last time I burned a porno magazine, the smoke formed the shape of a woman's ass.
Wow.
Why did you burn
That's
it?
a sign.
What on earth were you doing that needed fire for? I'm Nico, and doing this podcast with you, Justin, makes me sometimes wish I was on that plane. But Dan, doing the podcast with you makes me glad that I'm not.
Oh, thanks.
For the uninitiated out there, it's called flame play, and it's definitely a thing. Go ahead, Dan.
Well, Dan and I have no idea how to follow up that conversation. So, yep.
Well, normally there's a hint or a clue or something in that, but we're here today to review Final Destination. So this one was directed by James Wong, starring Devon Sawa, that you might know from Idle Hands, as Alex.
Stan.
Or Stan. Ali Larder as Claire, more on that name later. Kerr Smith as Carter. Chad E. Donella as Todd. Sean William Scott as Billy. And Tony Todd as William Bloodworth. How you doing, Blood? So we open with Alex, a high school student who's getting ready to take a trip with his French class to Paris. Members of the class include his bro Todd, the class dick Carter, potential stoner Billy, and mysterious girl X Claire. Not like Claire from Resident Evil, but Claire, like when you just clean your bathroom mirror because you got some company coming over. Anyways, when he gets on the plane, Alex has a premonition of the plane exploding in midair. This causes him to freak out, leading Carter, who's a dick, to get into a fight with him. And as a result, all the folks I just mentioned, plus Carter's girlfriend and one of the teachers, get kicked off the plane. The plane takes off without them, and just like in Alex's premonition, it explodes. Not going to use that segue. Nico, what happens next?
Nope. Now, naturally, everyone is freaked out because how in the hell did Alex know that that was going to happen? So everyone takes it really poorly, and even the FBI investigates. But they have jack shit for evidence, so they let Alex go. We then fast forward to the future, where they're holding a memorial service for the students that died. Clear, like the coast, thanks Alex because clear like the coast?
Like the coast is clear?
Like the...
Mhm.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. Clear like the coast. Thanks Alex because she believes that he saved her. Or did he? You see, that night, Todd is in his bathroom doing his business, and through a very odd set of circumstances, he slips on some water and is accidentally hung by a clothesline in his shower.
Well, speaking of being... No, so...
Well, what a wild time we're having.
I don't know what you're on today, Justin.
Well,
For real, man.
One guy I know who keeps his bathroom pristine is Dan. Dan, what happens next?
Well, next, Alex gets a clue in the form of a literal piece of shredded newspaper with the word Todd written on it. And he heads to Todd's house just in time to see them wheeling Todd's body out on a stretcher. They think it's suicide, but, Alex just isn't sure. So he runs into Clear, like the cloudless sky, and they end up breaking into the local coroner's office to, examine the corpse, I guess? Either way, they run into the local coroner, who is a total boss, and also explains that they dodged death on that plane, and it's coming back for them now.
That sucks. So, Alex doesn't really believe it. He's not super sure about that. But after witnessing Carter's girlfriend get straight up run over by a bus, he starts to believe. He does some due diligence and realizes that people are getting killed in the order that they should have died on the plane. And next is his teacher. So he goes over there to save her, but instead of talking to her, he sneaks around the place like a total stalker. So she calls the FBI on him. While he's busy getting interrogated, the teacher's house catches fire, and she gets stabbed through the chest with a knife. Alex gets released by the FBI, because again, no evidence, and he arrives just in time to get his fingerprints on the murder weapon before running out of his teacher's house before it can actually explode. Whoops, guess who's going to get blamed for this one?
Fucking dumb.
Mm-hmm.
Truly
Yeah,
one
a
of the
little bit.
stupidest goddamn protagonists we've ever seen. I just need to say that right from Jump Street. How much of a colossal moron this fool is.
Well, look, you started on
Anyway,
Jump Street. I was going to say, you started on Jump Street, so go around the block and tell me what happens next.
so now the cops are looking for Alex, and Clear gets Carter and Billy together to go look for him. Alex then explains what he knows about death coming for them, and Carter starts to freak out because he thinks he's next. Spoiler alert, he actually is. They then get to a train track, and the car gets stuck. Oh no, step train. They all get out except for Carter, whose seatbelt gets stuck. He's gonna die for sure, but then Alex intervenes and saves his life. Good for Carter. Unfortunately for Billy, when someone gets saved, death moves on to the next person, so he gets somehow decapitated, because of course he does.
Maybe much to your excitement, Nico, next up is Alex. So he barricades himself in a cabin and starts, kind of loses his head a little bit. Only problem is he realizes that he's actually not supposed to be next. Claire is. And can I just say right fast, that's some fucking bullshit that he's not supposed to be next. He's like, I never actually switched my seat. You fucking hoe. That vision you had that's been the guiding point for everything else, you were supposed to be next. Now there's a technicality. All right, fine. Anyways, Claire's next, so he hurries over to her place with the FBI in hot pursuit. And this motherfucker manages to row a boat away from the fucking FBI. I want you to think about this. Like, no power, no engine.
The boat wasn't in the water either. Like, he takes that shit to the water and then rows.
And they just kind of watch.
Yeah, they're like, oh no.
Oh no. He's leaving.
I don't really know. And even then they got in their cars, drive around. And I'm like, no matter where Alex is going, there's no way he's rowing that boat faster than a car can just go around. Anyhow, the FBI's in hot pursuit, and he manages to save Claire right before she gets killed. In doing so, though, he gets electrocuted, he flies like 10 feet, and his heart stops beating. Like plus 44. Dan, how's this movie wrap up?
Well, now we actually get a fast forward, and we cut to 6 months later, where Carter, Clear, and Alex, surprise, surprise, he's alive, are in Paris celebrating their survival.
That's fucked up.
Kind of is. Fuck you, classmates. We made it.
We were just built different. We were built different, and you guys
really
weren't.
Out here, though. You're not, but we are.
But Alex posits that death hasn't actually come for him yet, and it still might. Carter and Clear don't believe him, but Alex grows increasingly nervous and says he'll meet them back at the hotel room. Well, just then, a truck comes barreling down and almost results in Alex's death, but Carter jumps in, intervening and saving Alex. Unfortunately, because Carter saved Alex, death now skips to the next person, meaning that goes back around to Carter, who is then killed by a sign. Womp womp. The end.
I feel like the Seinfeld theme should have played when that happened, honestly. Particularly because at the end, the dialogue is so just like dumb as hell. And it's like, what do you mean this is all happening? I need some kind of sign. And then...
Sign.
Yeah, he got a real sign and true. So, let's see here. Dan, how does this movie look to you?
It looks pretty 2000s-y.
Oh, yeah.
It definitely it's got that, like, I don't know, color grading to it or whatever, I guess. I don't know how to say it. The characters have that look to them. They're like fashion and haircuts and shit are just straight out of
Yeah, all the white guys got the little spiked fronts. They got the frosted. They got everything, bro. They got everything there. Trust me.
Yeah. But all in all, I think it looks fine. Like the CG I thought was fine and everything was fine.
Yeah, I mean, that's very true. One thing that stood out to me, and I took notes on this, mind you. Where the fuck do these people live in New York that there's no black people? Holy shit. Did you recognize that? There's no black people in this movie. There's no minorities in this movie.
It's true.
It's just a fucking snowstorm. And I counted and I looked. There are 2 black girls at the memorial service and they're both staring at Alex. And I'm like, okay. And that was it. That was it. Like, you got no shades of brown, nothing.
It might be like farther out on Long Island or some shit.
No, because you know where they said where they were from, which
I don't
also
remember
didn't
that.
make sense because they took off from JFK and then they were like, they started acting like they hadn't been to the city in a while, which didn't make sense.
Oh
And I
yeah,
think
maybe
they
they're
said-
from like a little farther upstate.
They said they're coming from Nassau.
Okay, so that's Queens, Long Island.
Yeah, that's what confused me.
Oh, yeah.
That's why I was so
don't know.
confused. Like, yeah, one day we'll take a road trip into the city. I'm like, the fuck?
It's okay.
Like-
This just takes place in the same cinematic universe as Friends.
Yeah, I didn't really
Yep.
understand that part at all. But yeah, that's what I think what it looks like. Yup. Nico, how about you?
I mean, once Dan started off with mentioning the 2000s outfits and stuff, I just couldn't help but think of how each character in this movie looks like a different option you would see in Tony Hawk's Pro Skater as like choose your character or some shit. But
Yeah.
the CG, it's passable. I mean, it's nothing stellar. It's nothing like egregious for the time. It's all like it does the job that it needs to.
Yeah, I will say, and moving on to sounds here, I was a little disappointed, man, because I know if they really tried, they could have got some bangers for the
Yeah.
soundtrack, especially for a movie like this. Oh my gosh. I was expecting some Korn. I was expecting some, maybe even some System of a Down. I don't know. Linkin Park, Evanescence. I'll take anything, bro. I'll take anything. Any one of these categories.
You know what
But-
would have been, like perhaps at the time a great marketing decision, and then retroactively a little fucked up. They
Oh.
could have had Aaliyah's "Try Again."
Mm.
Oh, if first you don't succeed, brush yourself off and try again. Yo,
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
Could have
Okay.
had, not that I totally Google 2000 hit songs or anything, but we could have had "Oops, I Did It Again," "Bye Bye Bye." Could have had fucking
ooh,
Miss
Bye
Jackson.
Bye Bye would have been.
Yeah.
Bye
you said
Bye
Sorry,
Bye
Miss
would have been
Jackson?
so fucking funny. Oh my
Well done.
god.
There were some good options there.
Yeah.
Well done, Nico. Well done. Well done. Dan, how's this movie sound?
Just like the visuals, I think it sounds fine. There's, like Nico said, there's nothing egregious on the visual side. Same thing on audio side, I think. Thought it was just fine.
Mm-hmm. So, Nico, you know this because you're quite horrible at video games, particularly Shin Megami Tensei Persona, that death is a hunter not unbeknownst to its prey. And I want you to also think that this movie, the hunter is not unbeknownst to its prey, but no one ever sees it. You never see the antagonist. That is death, the Grim Reaper, if you will. In some cultures, it's a big-titted woman that lets you rest on her lap. In others, it's a guy with a big scythe. Either way, it's death out there. But we don't ever see death. What do you think about that?
So I feel like that's something that perhaps had more of an impact back in 2000, but it doesn't really hold as much weight, at least to me nowadays. I feel like if there was, and maybe this is down to the set design, just because so much of this is literally incidental whenever it happens, is just like, I don't know, there's no sort of like premeditation or anything because there's not an actual killer, and so that does make things a little bit different, a little bit unique, certainly. But I don't know, I think I would have preferred to see someone pulling at some puppet strings myself.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And the clothes hanging strings didn't do it for you. You wanted puppet strings.
Bro, that scene was so
Hold on. Don't fry your haram ass bacon yet.
Wow.
Dan, considering you don't ever see the antagonist in this, did that make you like this movie less at all? Were you okay with that? How'd you feel about it?
I was okay with that, actually. I thought it was kind of cool that it's sort of a corporeal killer, if you will,
Mhm.
and
incorporeal.
or incorporeal. Yes, that's what I meant. Incorporeal killer, and it's just like, I mean, it's death. Like, what are you gonna do against death?
What you gonna do with it?
Yeah, I was definitely, honestly, kind of a fan of an incorporated killer. And I thought for sure that we might see something, the shadow or a glimpse, but we didn't, which I don't know anything about the future movies. Maybe we might. But I really think that it's an interesting, and maybe guys, maybe this movie's a lot deeper than we gave it credit for. What is the struggle of man against death? There is no such thing.
That was something that kind of got me in terms of the whole central premise. Like, whenever someone gets skipped, they're always freaking out like, but death's gonna come back! And I'm just like, I mean, yeah, eventually, that's how life works, man. Like, is this some sort of new concept for you? Like, come on.
Yeah. And I will say sometimes it felt like, I don't know, death like fucked up at his job or something. And then I don't know, like God or someone was like, nah, bro, you missed like 6 people. You can't keep fucking up this job.
Bro, your
like,
KD ratios.
I didn't even, oh man, I'll go back and fix it. Make sure you kill them dead. Oh, fuck yeah. I'm going to kill them dead for sure. This hoe, I'm going to make sure she gets exploded and stabbed through the chest just to be sure I get my job done. It's like, whoa, calm down. Hey,
buddy. When he didn't do that, Alex lived. So
I know.
So maybe death should have made sure.
Maybe.
Speaking of making sure, I don't know where else to include this, so I'm just going to mention it briefly. But like,
make damn sure.
There are 2 different images that show the path that death takes. Now, there's the one that like Alex makes on the little like restaurant napkin or whatever the fuck he does, and then there's the diagram that they show on the news, and I don't know if those were supposed to be the same, but it kind of bugs me that they weren't, because it goes straight from the first potential victim to like the wing of the plane, which would have then proceeded to take out everyone goddamn else. So like, I don't know. It's frustrating to me that it wasn't consistent with the depiction there, and I don't know if that was just fuck it, we're gonna make a news graphic, or if that was like some other like golden route for death to take.
I didn't catch that.
I will say the one thing that I didn't think was necessary was I didn't think it was really necessary for the plane to have like, because all these people die in a real, to take a phrase that I saw from Wikipedia, in almost a Rube Goldberg machine of like a death trap.
Yeah.
And I thought that you got that because you cheated death. So I thought like, the plane crash would have just been like as simple as it can be crash, or something else would have happened. But like, this was like a death trap unto itself. And I was like, oh man, I didn't think the people deserved that. Like, that shit would have sucked. But
think about this too, right? The plane explodes when it's in the air, like a decent amount, and then the windows of the airport shatter. That would not happen.
Yeah, no.
So, no, that was horseshit.
Definitely not.
That was total horseshit.
That was a real big boom.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So I gotta ask, given what we've talked about with some of these kills, did you have a favorite kill or a favorite series of events that led to one?
I don't know if I can say favorite, but the one that sticks out the most in my mind is the teacher. For one reason, nobody in the history of doing anything in a kitchen has ever tossed a wet washcloth or anything onto a knife rack. Yeah. I want you to think, dear listener, in what fucking scenario does that make a lick of sense? You are going to... No, like, there was moment by moment just, like, this lady does a critical fail on her perception checks, or just, I don't know, metaphorically just absolutely shotgun some real dumb stupid juice, because there were so many moments where it's like, okay, this clearly could have been prevented by any reasonable human being.
Yeah, can we say right fast in that scene, too? She had a cup in which she poured vodka, but the cup was cracked. And it's like a pretty fucking sizable amount of alcohol.
Yeah, it's not like
dropping out of her mug. And it's like all over the fucking place. And I'm like, are you deaf? Are you blind? Do you not notice this? And it's like falling in such a way, because when you hold a mug, you would be almost stepping on it as you're walking. And then she fries her computer, which I called in computer. Yeah, because it's alcohol. And I called in computer expert Bonner, and he was like, that probably wouldn't happen that way. And
Also, like,
I don't
doesn't
know,
it
a lot of
drain into the monitor, not the actual
Yeah.
computer?
Mm-hmm.
that's the second point. The monitor might like something might happen to the monitor, but the computer wouldn't like blow up.
I'm also relatively certain that vodka was not flammable.
No. It has to
Unless
be
she was
like-
just cutting lost in the sauce.
Even then, bro. So interesting take there. Dan, how about you?
I don't know, man. I'm gonna flip the question a little bit.
Oh
I'm gonna talk about how I didn't like the kills.
shit.
I
hit me with
actually
it.
Go off, King.
thought they were kind of uninspired. Like
Okay.
everyone was just like you said, like a Rube Goldberg machine almost, like to figure out like how to kill that person, and just everything was like too complicated. Except for, I mean, okay, somebody got hit by a bus or something like that. That
Sure.
one's not. But I feel like, I don't know, half the kills maybe, I haven't fact checked that, but involve like fire or water, or like they follow a very similar thing. And I'm like, there's a billion different ways that you could die. Why do they have to follow like a very similar way of dying? You know, I got kind of bored of the kills, honestly.
And see, you figured that out, but big brain Alex over here in his little, like, murder hut is going, ha, yes, tetanus, you almost got me, but I have succeeded in besting you, death.
Yeah, I don't know if that's the way to go. Like, considering everything else has happened in this movie, I'll affect you with tetanus and watch you go slow. Or like, I don't know, like seduce him with like a really hot chick. Syphilis be thy name. Like, I don't know, man. Like, I don't know about that one, I guess.
She walked into my office, legs as long as Moon Knight, and I already knew that as soon as she said her name, it would be a poison upon my heart. Ma'am, what can I do for you? Well, you see, I have to tell you, my name is Syphilis. No!
You can't be. No, you can't be the. Oh.
And honestly, I kind of agree with you a little bit there, Dan, that I wasn't really inspired or anything by any of those kills. And I don't know. Honestly, my favorite thing that
Talk about the
happened in this-
bathtub scene.
Okay,
Speak
I was
on it.
actually. So Todd is like in the bathtub and he like trips because water leaks out of his toilet and it's like special water. So he slips and
It is some
Then-
special water, though.
It is.
he falls like
Sentient
face.
Fucking-
water.
Yeah.
Alex Mack or whatever the fucking show was back in Nickelodeon, that type of water.
Oh, the detective Alex Mack.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah, you know she inspired me, bro. Anyways, so
Fuck yeah, she did.
I firmly placing our age there. So, nah, I mean, he slips and then he falls face forward, and I guess his mom was hanging up her panties and whatnot in the bathroom, and he somewhat humiliatingly gets caught in that line, and he like twists around so it wraps around his neck, and then he falls into the bathtub, and I don't know who was doing what in that bathtub before he got there, but there's this like rather slippery substance just on the floor.
Just
And this dude's, like,
casually
trying to
lubing
get
up
up.
your bathroom for fun.
Yeah. And he's like trying to get up, but he can't. And his feet just keep kicking. And it's so fucking pathetic. And I'm like, there's a number of things one could do in this scenario. First
Yeah.
off,
Yeah.
you could use your arms to hold the side of the tub and like push yourself up. And like, he just kept kicking his feet. And I was like, oh my God, like, what are you on? Like, what
Coconut oil.
substance is this that you can't? And he was trying to like untangle himself. And I was like, okay, you got like three options here. Option one, you can like put your feet under you, you hoist yourself up, or you can like
Spin the other way.
spin the other
Yeah.
way so it like doesn't cut into your neck anymore. Or like he was trying to reach for some scissors, but he couldn't reach. And I was like, but you.
I also just find it incredibly hard to believe that line would hold his weight for that long.
That was the second point. I was like, I don't think this is going to hold you. Like, your mom strung that up to hold up some bras. I don't think that that's going to take your, like 150 pounds or whatever it is you weigh
Yeah.
on that. Like, no way, bro. No way. Like, I don't know. Like, autoerotic asphyxiation is not that easy. So I want to ask now, if you could add something to this movie, what would it be?
Autoerotic asphyxiation.
Flame play.
I looked for both of those. I looked for those, actually. And for me, it would
I regret
honestly...
knowing this about you.
For me...
A woman named Syphilis.
Yes!
I can't say anything because I already said too much. It's like that, that song Losing My Religion. I said too much. And now I'm just like sad. That's me in the corner. So regardless of all these great puns and songs we referenced here, I would just like to see more variety, more creativity. I think that Dan's right. The water thing is really played out. It's not like fucking Poseidon's after you, bro. You have a lot of different options.
Yo, could you fucking imagine a horror movie where Poseidon's after you? That would kick so much ass.
I would just move to like Las Vegas or some shit.
Bro,
middle of Nevada.
lest you forget, Poseidon is also the god of earthquakes.
Oh.
And horses.
Yeah.
Oh god, are horse girls the avatars of Poseidon?
No.
We hope.
No.
Please, God, no.
So, well, that's that for things we're adding to this movie. Dan, I heard that you have reclaimed your trivia crown.
I
Lay
have.
upon us the
I
trivia,
have.
the facts.
So this movie actually has fuckloads of trivia.
Nice.
So I'm just going to pick a few. So first, this one very much reminded me of Nico.
Okay.
Oh no.
Because in the opening scene, Alex, the
right.
actor, Devin Sawa, was supposed to pretend to be asleep on the plane, but in actuality, he really did fall asleep for 4 hours. 4 hours. Not just like 4 minutes, 4 hours.
Damn.
But I guess everyone was just chill with that on set. I don't know.
He was method acting.
Yeah. Another one is Todd's name is spelled T-O-D, just a
Right.
single D, which I thought was kind of interesting. And there's potentially two different reasons for that. One is in German, Todd, T-O-D, apparently means death.
Well,
So
Huh.
that kind of works. But more likely is that, and this is going to lead into my next one, is that almost all the characters are named after old horror movie directors or actors or people. So
Interesting.
Todd, his name is probably more of a reference to Todd Browning, who's the director of Freaks.
Right.
Mm.
His name is spelled T-O-D. But to piggyback off that, lastly, most of the characters are named after filmmakers or stars from, I guess, specifically black and white horror films, I guess.
mhm.
I'm not going to go through all of them because there's a bunch. But like Alex Browning was named after also Todd Browning as well.
Interesting.
Agent Shrek,
Shrek.
named after Max
Donkey!
Shrek, who starred in Nosferatu.
Right.
Howard Siegel.
Donkey, I'm a
named after-
vampire now, donkey!
Don't start this again. Oh no. God.
I'll spare you this time.
There's Billy Hitchcock after Alfred Hitchcock.
Yeah.
And there's a number of others, but I guess I don't want to go through everyone. But yeah.
Now I'm going to go ahead and we're going to take a turn here for the what would you do? And I thought a lot about this and I came up with something and then I kind of realized that we already did how would you spend your last day on Earth? We did that when we did the it was the horror short. The Sky.
The Sky.
Yeah.
So
right.
instead, I want to ask a question about
How
to
would you
guys,
spend
right?
your
We'll do
first
one-
day on Earth? Pissing and shitting and screaming.
Yeah, kind of. But okay, we'll do one for each of us. We'll start with Dan, Nico. So
Wait, what?
What?
Start with who?
let's start with Dan.
Okay.
Nico.
Justin.
So we have to basically what kind of fate do you think if Death was going after Dan, what do you think might happen? And how would we intervene to save him? What would be like the thing we would do to save him?
So we're all really tall, but Dan's the
Right.
tallest. I feel
Dan is
like
the tallest.
we would
Right.
be on a roller coaster ride,
Oh God.
Oh.
and one of the like little entryways would be just a couple inches too far
Oh,
down,
no. I don't think he's that tall.
and Dan would get scalped.
You know, that's
I don't
why
think-
I legitimately, that is why I don't ride roller coasters.
Yo, that's so fucking real.
Because I've been on one or two where it's like
Too close?
uncomfortably close, and I know
Yeah.
like I'm not gonna hit it, but I'm like, I don't know, man.
So I think the way to save him would probably have to be, you see,
Helmet.
I would send I would send Bonner on that ride, and Bonner would just throw up all over Dan, causing
Thanks.
What?
Dan to duck down, to be like, bro, what'd you do? And then he would like miss it. So
Thanks, I
that's-
guess.
that's how I would
Yeah.
save Dan. So next up, we're gonna do Nico, Dan. So
Okay.
what I think might happen to Nico is, everyone on the podcast knows that Nico is a man of great susceptibility to many different things. So hear me on this one. So Nico's going to end up walking into like, I don't know, some kind of bar, some kind of establishment, and it's going to run into a real bad joint, right? And she's going to be like, "Oh, Nico, you're just too attractive and Italian. Give me a kiss." So
Wait, does she say that in Italian? I'm confused.
yeah, both.
Okay, hold on.
Fucking both, mate.
Jesus Christ. Okay, so she would say to me, "You're just too attractive and Italian." And in Italian, because I've already butchered this once on the podcast, what's two? That would be, "Oh, Nico, sei semplicemente troppo attraente italiano." And I would be like, "What?"
Mamma mia.
Because I don't speak Italian.
And then she leans in to kiss you. But unbeknownst to you, this chick never flossed a day in her life. And she had literally just eaten some like
Sushi.
raw conchs mixed with diced crab sushi, along with octopus tentacles still like stuck in her teeth. So
Ew.
Ew. That's
And-
so,
Octopus
nah, bro.
And so-
if I can
and
see
so-
a veritable fucking
you
smorgasbord
can't see it.
coming
You
out of
can't
this
see
girl's
it.
mouth,
You
I'm
can't
not
see it.
about to get within 9 yards of this
Don't-
woman.
don't fuck with my picture, okay? So she kisses you, and when she kisses you, she goes for the tongue action, and accidentally some of these articles of food go down your throat. And
I hate
as you
this
start
so much.
and as you start to suffer from your allergy, you trip and fall, and your guitar pick you always carry with you, you have a metal one, it goes into an electrical outlet and you get electrocuted and die.
And that same guitar pick then slits my throat.
Yeah. So Dan, how do we save him from that?
Yeah, what could you possibly do?
I would. Oh man, I would. Fuck, dude, that's
Bro,
like
at that
10
point, just
scenarios
like
in
shoot
one.
me with a fucking gun. Just finish me off. That's how you save me.
I would just like be like, "Hey, yo, Nico, give me your keys to your car so I can grab your guitar in the back, and let me like play some chill switch engage on guitar
Oh, okay.
while like you're spitting game and everything."
Yeah.
And I'd ask to borrow your pick, right?
Okay.
Oh,
So you might still get a little
smart,
fucked up
smart.
with like all the
Okay.
other fish stuff, but we got EpiPens for that.
Yeah.
Rail.
So you won't get electrocuted and sliced open because you don't
Okay.
have your pick.
Good
There you
shit.
go.
Good
There
shit.
you go. All right. Last but not least, we can pass. No. So it's me,
Yeah.
and you guys got to cook up a scenario, but then you got to save me. So what's the deal with me?
Well, I think you'd be at the store
Oh no.
macking on this girl, right?
Okay. Here we go.
And then you'd be getting it in a little later, right?
Okay.
And then afterwards, you'd go, "Oh, you never told me your name."
Oh no! No.
And I've already got the solution for this because we, believe it or not, have discussed the fix for this particular problem previously. What we're gonna do is get some
Dan.
next day Amazon Plan
No,
B and
you
content.
pause. Go ahead, Dan. Go ahead, Dan.
No, I mean, I think
See, listeners, y'all don't know about how Nico likes to try and promote unsafe sexual activities. And
Right,
you know what?
I'm
Go ahead,
the
Nico.
one.
Go ahead, Nico.
What's wrong with you?
I think we all know how this ends if you listen to the podcast so far. So
Okay,
you already know what her name is.
so I run into Miss Phyllis over here. Nico, what's the fix?
So the fix is you're gonna get a text suddenly out of nowhere that as we've also previously established, you will check your phone during activities.
Yeah.
So you're about to receive a text that says, "Ayo, we gotta save Elias. He's trapped in the dark hour."
That's true. That's cause for an immediate.
Rose before
I'm sorry.
hose, right?
Absolutely.
We gotta reconvene later. I mean, if she wants to, she can kind of like grind up my character in Elden Ring or something. I don't know, but yeah, I gotta be out.
Hey, girl, you can't grind up me. Grind up on me, but grind up on my character. Here's a PlayStation controller.
Yeah, well done to all. That's about right. That's about right.
There's some free water over there too.
You're lucky I'm not charging.
Pick up yourself.
If you want the smart water, that is going to cost you extra. But I'm not balancing no one's pH for free. So
shut the fuck up.
it's alkaline. It's alkaline. No, dead ass. I've had bottles of water. That's like my thing. I've had bottles of water from like the Carpathian Mountains and shit.
Wow.
Y'all aren't ready for it.
I don't even know where those are.
Yeah. You would if you fucking read Dracula. Anyways, it's time for the critic review. Y'all taking up too much time with your weird stories. What do you guys think this has on Rotten Tomatoes from the critics?
23.
Yeah, I feel like it's low. I'm gonna go a little bit higher than that. 36.
I'm sorry, Dan, but Nico actually won for real this
That's
time.
okay.
It's 36 on Rotten
wow.
Tomatoes from the critics.
Wow.
Let's fucking go.
Now, the audience was way more generous with a 68. Maybe not nice, but generous. And
Yeah.
I want to take it to us now. Where do we think this movie ranks? I'll lead. I think that this movie for sure has its flaws. I mean, it certainly has flaws. But I do want you to consider, I will say, there's a little something there. Movie kind of freaks you out. Don't watch this before you got to fly on a plane.
Yeah, real
'Cause-
talk.
It's a movie, but it'll still freak you to fuck out, especially with all the plane shit happening recently. Like
Yeah.
a plane just touched down on the Dulles Airport highway, not too far from here, and planes in Miami catching on fire and all this other shit. So yeah, that real life shit is freaky enough. But sadly, apart from that, I don't think the movie's super scary. I think there's a little bit of a missed opportunity here to not get better creativity with the kills. And in future films, I hope and I believe, wink, that they do better about that. But I think the premise is shaky, but solid enough. And for me, I'm gonna give it a 70. I think it's
Wow.
enjoyable. I think it's enjoyable. I don't think it's great, but I think it's enjoyable. And this is actually one of the few movies that Bonner actually sat down and watched with me. And we spent the whole time talking trash and laughing and having a good time, but it was a good time. So I got to respect her for that.
I'll go next, and I want to paint the scene a little bit here. So, I've come a long way in my own personal journey with horror. Like, back when we started this 4 years ago, Jesus Christ,
Mhm.
That's buck wild. Back when we started, I was very new to the genre, hadn't seen a whole lot, didn't really have a lot to base my opinions on outside of just like art and stuff. And I have seen a lot of like the lowest of the lows now in this podcast. I've seen like some of the highest of high, regardless of genre. And I've also sort of acquired more of an appreciation and a tolerance for just kind of like bad movies. Because I don't know if you're aware, dear listener, but there's a lot of bad movies in the horror genre. And this is fine. It's frustrating, but it's not extremely frustrating. It's original-ish. It's got kills. It certainly has those. I'm gonna give this, I think, charitably a 50.
Okay. Dan, don't sit on that chair.
Ah,
Tell me what you think about this movie.
well, I think it was actually pretty good. No, it was not.
It's not a good movie. I'm sorry.
It lacks a lot of creativity, like Justin said, and I had said previously in the kills. I was really hoping for more. I'm kind of there with Nico's opinion as well. It's fine. There's nothing like offensive about it. It's not like terrible. It just is. I think it was mildly entertaining for the wrong reasons. Like,
Yeah.
laughing at some of the kills that aren't really supposed to be laughed at necessarily. But it was fine. I'm gonna give it a 55.
Well, all right. Are we going to recommend this one?
No,
I don't think
you can
so.
do better. Watch one of
That's
the
fair.
sequels, or just watch
Hey,
something
we don't
else.
know. There are no sequels yet, Nico. What are you talking about?
I've been had.
But no, I would have recommended it, but the official DOTD stance is we do not recommend this movie. So there you have it. Do you like this? Do you dislike this? Do you want to talk about any crippling fears you may have? We're here for you. Hit us up on social media. We're on X and Instagram at DOTD Horror. We're also on Facebook. That is Don't Open That Door. Plus, you can catch everything we've done on our website, which is dotdhorror.com. But till then, dear listener,
Please give us a review anywhere that you can. It really helps out a lot. Talk to us. I mean, whenever we're here, tell a friend about us. We'd love to get into more conversations with y'all about this stuff. It's great.
very true. And remember, always follow your gut. Take care
Unless
of
you
one
have
another.
IBS too.
And as always, dear listener, don't open that door. Bye.